Tracks on the beat.
Meet up in New York City. I am Abby Harris, your host today.
What up, what up? Welcome to Beyond the Blockchain. I am your host, Abby Harris. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Happy New Year 2024. Welcome to Beyond the Blockchain. I am your host, Abby Harris. Oh man, I am excited. Shout out to Pizza Dow. Today is gonna be our first. This is our first interview, first show. This is the format. This is how this thing is working out. Throughout the week, I will be having interviews with different guests and different people that I contact and connect with that have interesting projects. So just be prepared. But I started my year off with Ant Lava. I know you've seen. If you haven't seen, I have promotion advertising. He has a collection called Black Billionaires Collection. So we're going to get into that interview. But first, I just want to talk about certain things that's happening within the space, within the blockchain space, the ETFs, like all of this information, like we all sitting on the edge of our seats waiting, I will be doing some reporting on some of this stuff. So if you want to follow up or get some more information on the ETF. But we're going to get into some of the news. Like AI has been driving everything, right? Every time you see it on TV, everywhere is AI. I did a whole report on AI, the good, the bad, the ugly. But there are like certain little things that I just like want to and have to talk about. This is like my news buzz is the news buzz feed. Let's see.
Tesla has recalled 2 million cars.
I don't know if you got a chance to see that movie with all of the cars and all of that. Like, it sounds good, self-driving, but if the glitch or the AI decides they want to kill everybody and crash, that is very, very scary. Like I said, there are positives and negatives. I remember when this first started coming out, you see people ghost riding the whip and falling asleep while the car's driving in traffic. And you're relying on technology, where the gap falls, because sometimes technology has its mind of its own, especially when it is machine learning and learning us. It's not going to always learn the positives. A lot of times it's going to learn the negatives, and it's not going to be able to understand and compute. So that is like one of the craziest topics of the what you call it. The other thing is, let's talk about these prices. I have this thing about crypto. Like, there are some people who believe in it. There's some people who don't. But I just want to, like I said, this is how we're going to start off this year of talking about just the money aspect, where it's going, what are the expectations. So what I believe is that the reason why Bitcoin is hanging out at 44,000, right? Because we at 44,825 right now. And I believe it's hanging out there because January 10th is a very special day. That is the day that we see if we get ETF approved from the SEC, right? So what that do is, if that happens, it's going to be a quick pump. We can easily see it pump from 48 to maybe 52,000 or maybe 60,000. If the ETFs get rejected, though, that's the other thing. If the ETFs get rejected, expect that a sudden dump. And the reason why it will be a sudden dump is because a lot of people will be pulling their profits. Because they already see that is how they say the retail investors is going to be pulling. Oh, I don't even got my vibe in. That's why it's so light in here. Like, I gotta get the vibe, right? Excuse me, my vibe is a little off right now. And I just realized that I don't even have all my lights on because I was being prepared, ready for the show, and didn't even get a chance to turn all my lights on. So let me start off with that. Let me get my lights on so I can make sure I get this beyond the blockchain mood today. So we're gonna start out with my backlights back there. Okay, we got those in. Okay, those is on. You got it as bright as you can. Oh, and I got to get my beat popping. Like, what's going on here? You know, it's beyond the blockchain podcast. Why I don't have my beat popping? Like my beat's supposed to be popping. The whole shimmer shebang should be going. You see the Scarface and all that. But let me get back to the topics of this ETF and the expectations of a dump happening. So there's a company called Grayscale, right? Now, Grayscale actually sued the SEC, and it actually went in their favor. And so if the ETFs don't eventually, hold on, let me back this up. So if the ETFs don't get approved by the 10th, right? Expect it be a very hard dumping of everything because people are going to be pulling their money out. So that is kind of like the 10th is a very, very big day of what's happening within the space. And this is I always tell people, remember to pull your profits. Pull your profits. It's easy to say, oh, I want to see it go to the moon. But if you not dollar cost averaging and pulling your profits every time you see, then you're never, it's going to go like this. You're going to see your money go like this. And then you're going to see your money go pop. And a lot of us has been here before that went like this and then pull our money and it went like pop. And they all sick for the last 12, 13, 14 months, right? But this time around, we're going to pull our profits, especially if we riding on ETFs, if they're gonna get rejected or not. So that's what the main thing is. Now here's the thing: there's a lot of money that's moving into Bitcoin. Look, I did my research, so I'm actually reading my notes, right? So I can really communicate and have beyond the blockchain informative before we get into some of the guests and some of the great topics that we're talking about. So money is moving into blockchain because many feel like ETFs will get approved and Bitcoin will pump hard. Now, this is not financial advice, but I love Ordinals. Ordinals is a new NFT that is the new ecosystem of NFTs that's built on Bitcoin. Since I've been involved in my dollar cost averaging in Ordinals, I've been seeing some good numbers on what it does. Do your own research. They call Ordinals. NFTs built on blockchain. Like shout out to Luca. He was like the first one, and Eric was the first one that tell me about it. And I actually looked at it months ago when it was cents on the dollar, but I did not look at it. And then lately I got into it. So make sure you check out Ordinals, and especially if Bitcoin pumps, right? If Bitcoin pumps, Ordinals and that whole ecosystem of NFTs and digital assets on Magic Eden, the value is going to be crazy. So personally, I am bullish in the market in 24-25 if ETFs get approved. Bitcoin is halving this coming up. The interest rates on the market for the year. Like I'm telling you guys, I did my research. The cycle ends 2024, mid 2025. New millionaires will be made in this year if you do the things right. Are you listening to what I'm saying? If you do your research, you connect with the right crowd, you follow things that happened last year, if you pulling your profits, if you're putting it in to the places that need the place, you're doing your own research. in 2024, 12 to 18 months, there will be new millionaires. That's what this thing is doing. That's why I drank the juice. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I drank the juice because I seen, like, see, there's a whole thing about this Web3, crypto, Bitcoin. There's a financial side, which you can day trade, you can hodl, you know what I'm saying, over there. Then there's a NFT side to where there are digital assets and digital communities that you could be a part of that has host value. And then there's startups and companies and corporations and problem solving and VCs and all that. I am personally all over the place. I am not a trader. I learned a long time ago that trading is not my thing. Like, I realized, and the reason why is because I grew up with my grandfather during the holidays. Everybody would get around. We'd get all the pennies around the house, and we'd be either playing blackjack, pity pat, tonk. I come from a gambling household, you know what I'm saying? So going to Atlantic City, Vegas, and playing cards or playing dice, CeeLo, craps, that's where I grew up. So once I understand and identify that I have gambling in my body, in my life, then it's like, okay, bro, be easy, because I'm looking. My first time I was trading on my own. I went and did the whole YouTube University, which I suggest nobody do. I suggest you get a mentor. I suggest you get a team. I suggest you get people who can answer questions for you, because if you go out as a lone wolf, right, out here trying to trade off of Fibonacci and all of these tools that you really don't understand, then guess what? You will lose your money, because there are more market maker winners than there are noob traders or noob investors. So that is where I stay at with that. But like I said, in this year, if you do things right and you move in the direction that you need to, then yeah, absolutely. That's something that we would talk about, because I'm building this community. And this community is a bunch of great people, great networking, people who have all types of resources that can help you. Excuse me. Let me see. Okay. So I'm going to end that with my, that is my reporting for my Beyond the Blockchain News. I hope that was very informative for you. So now, without further ado, we're going to get into this interview with my man, Ant Lava. This is Beyond the Blockchain podcast. I pre-record my interviews, so there's going to be pre-recorded. There's going to be a lot of references and stuff. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. This is the Beyond the Blockchain podcast, and check it out. 2024, you my first interview, so we're going to crack the mold. No other than Black Billionaires, right? Because that's what you promoting. So it got to be on that type of time and type of level. So now let's restart this question back. Who is Ant Lava?
Ant Lava, when I used to do Street Team back in the day for all the labels, you know, so come to call me Ant Live, and then, you know, my peoples I was running around with just shortened it to Lava, and I put, you know, my first name, which is Anthony, with the, you know, so some people call me Lava, some people call me Ant Lava, but, you know, that whole concept of Lava really just came from, you know, I turn up. I'm the one that, you know, when we went to the pool, I'm the first one to break the ice. I go to the party, I'm gonna walk in and, you know, you know what I'm saying? Always bringing that good energy and really bringing that positive force and really uniting people, you know what I mean? And in nature, lava is the foundation, you know what I'm saying? So without a volcano and the lava, like, you don't get land, you know what I'm saying? So that's where everything kind of start from the grassroots level. So really, you know, bringing that all together and just embracing that, you know what I mean? And, you know, for me, I started, you know, my career, you know, came from interning. You know what I'm saying? I come from the era of interning and learning, and I started that on music videos, you know what I mean? So, you know, I went to a Mad Skills video. Mad Skills, Move Your Body, you will pull it up.
Hold on, time out for 1 second. How do you feel that Mad Skills is not doing the wrap-ups anymore?
I mean, Skills is still doing what he's doing, but, you know, it's the good and the bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Murder
Okay,
took it.
okay, keep going, cause
I think for the sake of hip hop, they should have maybe collabo one year, did kind of the remix and let him Murder and Skills do it together, and I think that would have been dope. But I think he brought something good to the culture that's still going. You know what I'm saying? So that's from that era. That's how. And the funny thing is, in that video, if you could pull up the video on YouTube, it's called "Move Your Body." I'm actually laughing at Skills going into the club. So it's just like I look back at it, I'm like, damn, you was doing that back then, and it's just like it's still, move forward to today and a lot of things that I was doing throughout my career.
So so let's yeah, from the intern part.
In the beginning, and my first music video was Burning Spear, reggae artists, and from there I met, dope people like Carl Verner, Rich Ford, linked up with Hype Williams, worked on 702 Stilo, Missy, I Can't Stand the Rain, like tons of music videos. So that was, and that's how I kind of got introduced to the music business. Growing up for Green, I saw guys like Big riding around in the Land Cruiser, or Spike Lee. They did Hip Hop Parade in my project. So I never forget that day. Me and my family was dressed up on our way to church, and we come outside on the basketball court. It's Spike, it's Naughty by Nature. We back upstairs and change it. We go. So that seeing those experiences firsthand and seeing other young black people coming from where I come from, and that changed my mind. It was like, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And also, like, growing up in Fort Greene, like, that's where, Eric B was hanging out in the whole Paid in Full era. So he was bringing through, like, all of the rappers, G-Rap, LL, all these different people. So it was seeing the life, not just hearing it, the radio that we used to hear, listening to Red Alert and everybody, but it was actually now seeing these people firsthand, and that just really intrigued me, and I was like, nah, I got to be a part of that.
That sounds dope. Like, I got a similar story too. I got a very similar story.
But and that's all people, like, I'm a fan first of the culture. No matter how much I'm involved with the business, I think what makes me dope and stand out for my marketing and my point of view on the culture is that I look at it from a fan. It's like, not just from a business perspective. Yeah, this part is gonna make us money, but what's really gonna engage the fan? Because at the end of the day, I could go to a concert and be backstage, but I want to go and stand out there with the people. I want to see the show. I could go stand on the stage behind the rappers, but you don't get the same experience being in the crowd with the people. You know what I'm saying? It's that energy. It's that vibe.
So interning, videos, music, right. And then what? Like, because all of that, none of that sounds like you getting paid. You feel me? So right. How do you, because a lot of, like, this dream that people have of being in the music industry is a very glorious thing when you see all the jewelries and the cars, but they don't really see the grunt work on how to get it, you feel me, or getting in there. So that's, what I'm saying? So I want you to explain that a little bit more.
Started on the music videos, and when the videos kind of slowed down, like, that's how I got introduced to the street team. You know what I'm saying? And then like, shout out to my man General. I started doing street team with him, and back then you had accounts. So we was working for all the different labels, Universal, G Street, picking up different artists, you know what I'm saying? And really working the records. And he was really the OG that's like, I got to a point with him where I was probably making a couple $100 a month. And I'm, now in high school, and I'm just like, yo, I want more money. Like, you know what I'm saying? I need more bread. And he like, yo, I ain't gonna pay you no more money. It's like, the only way you're gonna get more money is either you go get your own accounts and build your own team. And I was like, all right, well, then that's what I'm going to go do. Like, was in high school, you know, I was doing fashion shows. I was the president of my high school, you know, since freshman year, came in and ran the student government. And I was like, yo, I want to do fashion shows. And back then we used to go look in the back of the Source and the Vibe. And that's how you got in contact with the people that ran ads. Yeah. And that's kind of how I introduced to the fashion game. You know what I'm saying? So we would call and he wasn't picking up. I'm like, yo, the address right there. And I went to school downtown. We're going to go to the city and go to their office.
Hey, yo, you know, the naiveness of a young man trying to get on, right?
Like, it's you're not going to tell us no. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to tell me no, then you're going to tell me no in my face. And then we're going to walk down the hall from your office and be like, yo, they told us no. You want to rock with us? So it was like all of these worlds at one time. But I think for me, it was always, you know, building that connection. Like, you know, for me, like even on music videos, like you get a production book. You got a production book on every set. And everybody I met during that time, I would actually call them every week looking for work. So it was like every Wednesday and Thursday, because I was still in school, I would call them like, yo, you guys shooting any videos this weekend? Can I work? So it was really learning. I think, you know, in order to be in any business, the great thing about being an intern is that you learn and you get the fuck up on other people's money. You know what I'm saying? So
but also,
you get to learn.
Also something that you said that you kind of like skipped past was building the contacts, having those numbers, building the relationships. You know what I'm saying? That like, because somebody who was an interning with you all of a sudden got a big budget and is head of a whole department that's gonna say, yo, I need some bodies over here. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying, so yeah, it became, I was consistent, you know what I'm saying? So I would constantly call all these different people, and then it was just like, yo, you got any work? And then it'd be so funny because somebody be like, yeah, I'm working on this, and then you get to that same set, and somebody that you call ain't tell you, and they're like, damn, you here, you working, yup. So it's just like, you know, kind of just being consistent on it and really building those relationships. And I think a lot of people just, when they go out and meet contacts, the most important thing is the follow-up. Like, you can always go to different events, go to this and that, but if you don't send that quick email or that quick text, then it's just like, what's the point? So, you know, really build out. And then, you know, from there, I worked with Entertainment, which was dope, and launched Camron's career, working with Charlie Baltimore, working with Lance Reveria, who also was not just a music executive, he was also directing videos. So kind of me coming off that intern street team, I was able to join a team and do college radio, you know, run the street team, but also work on all of the music videos. So I was like, you know what I'm saying, a 2-in-1 package. Like, he could do all the promo, do videos. Like, nah, we need this kid on the team. So that's how we was, you know, very effective in launching Cam's career, launching Charlie's career after the death of Big, and really keep working those Junior Mafia projects, Little Kim project. And, you know, when that whole situation folded, I was able to work with Loud and Sony for a while. And then I, you know, based on Cam leaving Sony and going to The Rock, like, he gave me that call, like, Lava, I'm over here now. I need the 1-2. Let's make it happen. And it was like, come on, let's go. Let's take it to the top.
Yo, that is really cool, because people don't really know your history. They might have seen you around, but they don't really know, you know what I'm saying, all the campaigns and stuff that you have worked on. And people don't really understand, and I didn't understand as we was all in it, that we have, how could I say it, like, stamps in the 50 years of hip-hop of some type of input on some projects or different stuff going on in there. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I feel good about it. I just feel like, you know, what disappointed me about Hip Hop 50 was, as a culture, it didn't celebrate all of us, everybody that contributed to the culture. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like it only gave light to the MCs and the artists, but we talking about the culture. You know what I'm saying? So when you mention the culture, it's not just the artists. You got to pick up the directors, the stylists, everybody behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like the producers, the engineers. Like it's so many people that make these projects happen. So if you're gonna celebrate everybody. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part I didn't like. And I feel like even no artist didn't step up and say that. You know what I'm saying? And say, yo, we celebrating the culture, not just the MC part. Because when you look back at the beginning of hip hop, it was what? The MC, the DJ, the breakdancer, the graffiti artist. You know what I'm saying? The fashion. So we got to celebrate it all, not just the person that has the voice, because it's all of those other things that make the whole culture. That's why hip hop is so dope, because it's not just the voice, it's the fashion with the voice, with the art, with the dancing, with the slang, with everything that makes it all that one world that's just like originated from the ghetto, and you know what I'm saying, and from the streets, and the impact the whole world.
So much music that I hear right now that is so like derivatives of hip hop that they just trying to just create.
Got country hip hop flow, like
You know what? I feel like if there's any type of boom bap or any type of drums on certain type of songs, regardless if they used it in pop or EDM, it's hip hop.
Right.
That's how I personally feel.
Right.
So let's go back to the Rocafella, being at Rocafella, because Rocafella changed the game. They moved a lot of buildings. The building moved for Rocafella. Talk about that experience.
I think once again it goes back to the culture. I think Rockefeller was able to make an impact on the culture because it wasn't just the music. We had Rockaway, we had Armadale, you had Pro-Ked, you had the films, and then you had this collected group of artists and individuals, not from just New York, but the five boroughs, Philly, bringing that whole flavor to the world. So I think we changed the world in a way that was very dope, and no other crew or shout out to the Def Jams or the Death Rows or the Bad Boy, but they didn't have all of that. They didn't have that full component the way we were able to embrace everything and represent it and bring it all to the world. You know what I'm saying? So, you look at the different sides that, Dipset, then you got State Prop, and then you got Jay and Bleak and his crew. So, you know what I'm saying? It was just all of these different flavors, and then then you bring Ye with Chicago, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, you couldn't stop it. It was this unstoppable force because it was just always bringing that full package at the same time, whether it was new flows, beats, just like, you look at Jay and what he did with the Yankee fitted, but then when Dipset joined, it was like the whole fashion shit switched. You know what I'm saying? Everybody went bandana crazy, Jeff Hanneys, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it went up. But then when Ye came, he switched it again. You know what I'm saying? State Prop had their flavor. They switched it up at their time. So I think it was really not just bringing just the music, but a whole cultural lifestyle that people, was able to replicate. And I think that's important in business because we always offer tangible products. So it's just like you can look at the artist, but then you could actually go to the store, buy a Rockaway outfit, buy Armadale, look like Jay-Z, or you could go buy a bandana outfit, a Jeff Hamilton leather, some scissor, you know what I'm saying, and throw your bandana on like Santana and look like this. You know what I'm saying? So it was like the people could really replicate that. And I think that's what was dope about it.
Now, looking at it from the inside out, structurally, meetings, talking to people, how was that experience? Because we all see the outside. We just see, like I said, the glory. We don't see what time the day starts, what time you need to be there. Make sure them phone calls go out. Make sure to get in contact with stores. Like, how does that function out? Because you're coming from interning into you being dropped in all of these places, and of course, as New Yorkers, and I say this, We are chameleons. We can form and shape to whatever we color we need to, because, and I believe it's because there's so many different nationalities in our city that we have to, by the time we leave our house and go to the corner store, we done spoke to the person from Africa, we done spoke to the person from Brazil, we done from Yemen, we done spoke to all these people. Not only did we speak to them, we might even say hello in their language, to be honest with you, being a New Yorker. But so going back to that, talk about the structure of like different personalities and how things will work, and some of those ideas that you might have seen and says, you know what, I'm gonna take this and take that and implement it to my business, and so I can exceed.
Right. I think one of the brightest things that was about the Rocafella team was that it was young people. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of, when you look back at the staff, we were all like, I joined Rocafella when I was 20. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I wasn't even legal to be in the clubs. You know what I'm saying? But I'm the national director. I had my 21st birthday at the office, and then Damon looked at me like, hold up, you're 21, but you go to the club every night. Like, it's just like, I'm old school New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, what? So I think, it was really letting us bring those young ideas into the room and into the corporate environment and giving us a chance. And also me, like, even with me being young at that time, my street team was mainly high school kids. So it was just like, I would literally go to the schools, pull up with the Rocafella truck, give out stuff and be like, yo, whoever want to work, take my number, and this is how you could find me. So I think, that's something that, was able to structure it. And then, based on what I did in music, I was promoted to the director of promotions for all of the brands. So not just the music, that was the fashion, the liquor, the films, the sneakers, the clothes, everything, you know what I'm saying? So it was really like bringing that structure and bringing that cross-marketing flavor to it. So, when I joined, I felt like there wasn't, you really didn't see the artists in those ads. And that was really a marketing play, because the record company will only give you a certain amount of dollars. But then I go sit in a fashion meet, and then they spending $500,000 here, they spending $5 million. How can we get part of that $5 million? Like, I'm gonna spend that quickly over here. So it was just like really now to bring that cross marketing idea to say, okay, well, if we put the artist in this ad and we put their logo on these marketing tools and promos, then we could get 10 times X amount, or we could get 50 times the amount of exposure off of this. So, you think about, when Jewels was in the Rockaware ad and they had the billboard in front of, MTV in the middle of Times Square, it's no way on his Rocafella budget he would have been able to do that. But by putting it where ad and they spending a way lot more money, you know what I'm saying? Like, now we can get that massive exposure. So I think the brand partnership and having dope brands that they understood and being to let young people come in the room and have a voice and believe in that voice and say, okay, bring me your ID on paper, bring me your budget, approve it, and then say, go attack. Like, I'm not gonna hold your hand every step of the way. If you get jammed up, come and let me know, but go full speed ahead with what you believe is right for the company and for the culture. And I think that's what made it so dope.
That is dope. That is dope. Like, you didn't realize during the time that how it was attacking you so many different ways, from branding, the Rockaware, the clothing, but it was just like everywhere. Like, it was just like, if you drank the juice, you drank the juice. You feel me? And you were just Rocafella everything. So now, from Rocafella,
my days was 18, 20-hour days. Like, come on. I was just telling somebody last night, I never forget leaving the club and going uptown to drop my man off the original chopped cheese in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? Going to Haji's, and we sleep in the truck, and the bouncer from the club knocks on my window like, yo, bro, what are you doing here? And I still got the chopped cheese on my lap, like, I didn't even get to eat it. Like, so, it was nonstop, 7 days a week all around the world. And I just ain't have street teams in the US. You know what I'm saying? We had street teams in Paris and London, you know what I'm saying? All over. So we was just really expanding around the globe and really pushing the brand like to a whole different plateau.
The vision behind the whole thing, who was it?
For what? For what's that?
That whole Rocafella thing. Like who you seen mostly just like, yeah, we got to make sure and pushing that agenda.
I mean, day to day was definitely Dame. Dame and Biggs was there day to day, you know, running in the office. You know, they were more hands on. You know, you saw Jay more at the events, or he would pop into key meetings. But you know, I worked hand in hand with Dame, and I think that was always good for me because I could tell him my vision and me also being plugged into those different worlds, having experience in fashion, experience in music videos, and also, you know, hanging out downtown New York. You know, downtown New York was a different scene back then. Like below 14th Street, it wasn't many black people in those rooms. You know what I'm saying? So already having a connection with the Mark Ronsons and all of these different DJs that were spinning, I was able to get into these places, and it'd be nice that he'll be in somewhere or I'll be in somewhere and he come in like, yo, what you doing here? How you get in here? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was just really having that cultural understanding, but it wasn't a bad thing. It was just like, oh, I see you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and I think that was able to, it was that mutual respect.
So quick question now, being able to work side by side and seeing this global phenomenon, businesses, music, and all of these different brands, what are some of the jewels you took and you learned for yourself that started the new corporation of Black Billionaires?
I think what I learned from them to incorporate into Black Billionaires is really like be consistent. Like it's about the power of your branding and empower your people. Like, you know, it's always, you know, any entity that wants to survive has to now look back at the next generation. So if you look at, you know, the success of, you know, Jay, he had the, you know, he empowered Bleak, you know what I'm saying? And Dame went and got Cam, and Cam went and got Jewels, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's always about empowering and working with that next generation and be able to take that input from them and give them a shot. And I think that just mainly too comes from my intern days where somebody gave me a chance. So it was really, you know, me working with other young designers, whether they do graphics or do this or do that, and just really, you know, bringing something to the table. But, you know, Black Billionaires was birthed out of, you know, I started it during the pandemic, and I came up, you know, I was in the crib like everybody else, and I'm a very social person, and I was looking at what was going on, and I was just like, you know, it was kind of Virgil, rest in peace, Virgil. It was kind of Virgil expired as well, because I was like, how can I take something that create a brand that's going to empower not just our people, but come up with a good conversation. I wanted to make a brand that was that can make people socialize, because I felt like with me being super social, people became less social. Like, you don't want to interact with people. We have these masks and everything else. Everybody was kind of like distant, but then how can I really take what Virgil did with Off-White, where it was like, you know, the brilliance of that was it wasn't overly styled in fashion. It was based on text. So how can I take some text, but also with a meaning and empowering? And when somebody else sees that, they're going to be like, yo, that's what's up, or have an intelligent conversation. So, you know, when I created it, we started this event called Pop-Up Picnic. And it was really like, that was really just something that we did in the park, and really just to get people out. And I didn't put it on social media, no nothing. Nobody knew I was doing this, you know what I'm saying? And at the Pop-Up Picnic event, I literally went around, had the shirt on, and was just like, yo, if you buy a shirt, you get a free towel. If you buy a shirt, you get a free towel. And we did like 3-4 events, and by the end of that, people were coming back like, yo, I need the white one now. Yo, my peoples want 2 blacks, I need 3 whites. So it was just really was really birthed out of that. And I knew like, okay, I got something here. And then as I start to travel with it and make other pieces, you know, when I'm in the airport or I'm out of town, they don't know it's my brand. And people just like, hey, you know, what do you do? What are you into? And da, 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 da. And I started to have all of these different conversations with different people from all walks of life, and I was like, oh, this shit really works. Like, you know, people like this. And then that was really the reaction from my customers, and I realized that that's why, like, the customers that I started to build, they enjoyed that as well. So they could be wearing a hat or a t-shirt somewhere, and somebody that doesn't know them is going to speak to them about the brand, because what the brand messaging was saying. And I don't see that from other mass market brands. Just because somebody has on Gucci or Louis or, you know, a Mary, somebody isn't gonna say, "Hey, what business are you into?" Or da 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 da. It's not. It's not. It's more of a, I'm part of this elite society, but nah, this is, well, I don't really know you, and you saying you got billions, and it's really about our mind state. And also, you know, going back to what my hat say, they stole everything from us, is really, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of birthed into that. You think about, you know, what black people went through in America, and what we still going through is just like everything has been stolen from us. So if you look back at even after slavery, you know, we're not even going to count the free labor they got, but you look at all of the great black societies that was built in the Tulsas and all of these different great cities and things that they did. And when you look back at what happened to it, what they do is either they burned it down, or they put drugs in it, or they put a highway through it. So that, you know, this country has always found a way to systematically, I think every 10 years, find a way to fuck up our generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? Because you think about the things that your family did or my family did. Look how much money or businesses and things we would have inherited from those that built, you know, came out of slavery and built up these things and did great businesses and built banks and built, you know, colleges and all of that. But somehow within the pipeline, whether it's crack or heroin or jail or this, that, like, you know, when you start to look at the system, it's always a way for us not to be empowered. And I wanted to find a way to give my people a voice and empower back the people.
That was deep, because I've been watching, like, I'm not sure if it's on Netflix or Amazon, but they talk about some of these towns where, by the lake, and they come and take over the towns and all of that stuff, and how they fighting to get their stuff back. So
yeah, it's look at the Green Book. You know, it was talking about the Green Book on how black people used to have to travel in America, and they couldn't go to certain bathrooms and restaurants, and they had hotels and bars and communities that it was like a whole hub for all these black people. And, you know, I watched the documentary on that, and they try to go back to a lot of these places, and what's through there? A highway. You know what I'm saying? So they knew how to divide it and then say, okay, now these people on this side of the highway, this people on that side of the highway. And you look at now, it's gang territory, or you from the east side, you from the west side, da 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 da. Whereas that back then it was one big community. So it's just like that, you know, when you look at the system, is always still against us, even though we're out of slavery, we're still in some form of fight for our freedom and our economic fair share.
So you can have me tap in on what I call the new digital slave. Is we are slaves to our phone.
Right.
And if you have ever driven Uber or Lyft, then you're a slave to the app. But so that is the whole idea and concept about Black Billionaires, the branding.
Yeah, it's just really empowering the people. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to give people a brand that they could celebrate and really feel good about, and really, like I said, also too, on the social side, spark a good conversation. You know, so it's just like, you know, from whether it's hustler spirit, or they stole everything from us, or no handouts, or hustle, or just a brand name. I think, you know, these slogans and marketing things that I've incorporated into the brand is really embodies what we represent, but then also too, when other people see it, it sparks a good conversation from the other person that doesn't know. How do you have an intelligent conversation with somebody just out the blue? Somebody just ain't gonna walk up to you and be like, yo, hey, what you do? Like, nah, but then they put you with a Black Billy something on and be like, all right, he about his business, he about his money. and sometimes for me, I forget that I'm wearing it. So somebody will say something to me, and I'm like, "Huh, what are you talking about? Oh, your hat. Oh, you know what I'm saying?" So it's just really, like I said, coming out of that, pandemic mind state. And I think in our lifetime, we never thought we would see anything like that. That shit that we read in books and heard about, but then like to really live through it and being in New York City and seeing the streets empty and we can't go nowhere and it just became a ghost town. And, it was really, giving people that hope again. And really, I think, like I said, after everything, the George Floyd and everything that we lived through, it's like, we got to celebrate us. You know what I'm saying? We represent everybody else. Why we don't represent ourselves?
I feel that. I definitely feel that energy. Definitely. But if you don't celebrate yourselves, then who you gonna celebrate? And I always, what, and people say this. You always thinking about yourself, right? Who else am I supposed to think about if I'm not thinking about myself? So you want me to put this in front of that? No, like at the end of the day, it's your home, it's your temple, it's your foundation, it's your peace, it's your serenity. And if you feel good about it, then that's what it should be. So like, I feel the brand. Like I've been seeing it. I definitely see you. I see you moving all the events.
Brother, and every other culture, they represent themselves, and there's no disrespect to them, but it's like, being a Black American, I call us the aliens on the planet because we ain't really got no home. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we Africans, but we in America, but everybody else in America got to grind. Like, all right, well, we going to go back to this country. We going to go back to this country.
I'm going back home.
Yeah, where we going back to? Down south? We going back to the plantation? Like, come on. Like, we can't. It's more than that. You know what I'm saying? So, no matter where we go on the planet, we still not accepted. Like, yeah, they embrace us. They got to tolerate us. But we kind of, and that's what makes it so dope, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? You think about this group of people that were stolen. We stolen people on stolen land. But, they do everything to try to make us the worst, but then they steal everything from us. And everything we create impacts the entire world. Like, we are some fucking aliens then. Like, we are the magic. Like, no other culture could do that. Like, we created hip-hop. We impact every industry, whether it's food, tech, everything depends on us. If we don't co-sign it, the Black Americans don't say it's dope, it's not a go. Whether it's cars, whether it's this, that, drugs, anything you name, like Black America say it's cool.
Quick question. A book that my partner Yuri he always asks this question. A book that you're currently reading and a book that have changed your life. It could be audio.
A book that I'm currently reading, I'm reading the Rich Paul book. I can't think of the title right now, but it's like right there. But I'm reading the Rich Paul autobiography, which is dope, and people don't know who Rich Paul is. He's LeBron James' manager, and he's like one of the first Black like agents, and and the book is really about how he came from gambling and hustling in Cleveland to being very impactful in the sports world and representing agents and really taking that to another level. And I think that's dope and inspiring. And I would say a book that changed me would be Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've read that maybe 2-3 times, and I really, coming from the streets and understanding business and going through different things, I think I had to read it a few times to really let it sink in. You know what I'm saying? And I think I embody a lot of those tactics and took tactics from that to really, and still use tactics from that in my business thinking and my approach to, deals or partnerships or creating new businesses.
Okay, how can they find your brand?
Yeah, you can find the brand. You can follow it at Black Billionaires Collection on Instagram, or you can follow me at Ant Lava NYC Also, that's my Instagram and Twitter. The brand website is wearblack.onuniverse.com. You know what I'm saying? We're black, man. We're black brands. There's nothing wrong with it.
And thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This is Beyond the Blockchain Podcast. Yeah, shout out to all the black brands. I hope you got a chance to enjoy the interview. This is Beyond the Blockchain. We do this each and every Monday, 10 a.m. And this is Beyond the Beyond the Blockchain Podcast. Make sure you tune in. Like I said, join our community, join our Telegram group, UCOC, United Colors of Crypto. We will be doing a merch related membership brand. Like I said, I got some dope guests lined up for the year. Actually, for the next couple of weeks, and I got some dope investigative reporting on AI and, like I said, the good, the bad, the ugly. And it is. Peace.